Oh, good morning, everyone here in-house and out there. My name is Celeste, and I'm a practitioner here at CSL Minneapolis, and it's my pleasure to welcome you here this beautiful morning. You know, it's kind of surprising that it's so beautiful, and yet some people still come into church. It's like, that's devotion. I am devoted to this message. So here at Center, I'm sorry, what? And being on a golf course. And yes, lots of golf carts. So our mission here at the Centers for Spiritual Living Minneapolis is to teach, demonstrate, and inspire a positive spiritual approach to living. And our statement of truth, there is a power for good in the universe greater than we are, and you can consciously use it. That's what you're here. That's what gets you here in the morning when it's so beautiful out, to be in communion with that idea. So without further ado, now is a good time to check your phones, make sure they're silent or turned off. And if we're ready, I think we're going to have our first song with our visiting over the internet, Gary Lynn Floyd.
Good morning, Center for Spiritual Living Minneapolis. It's been a long time. My name is Gary Lynn Floyd. I'm so happy to be back with you this morning. I got a brand new chant for you. It's called One in the One. It goes like this. One in the one, one in the one. One in the one. One in the one, one in the one. One in the one. Sing it with me. One in the one, one in the one. One in the one. Again. One in the one, one in the one. One in the one. We are one in the one. The dawn of a new day has begun. Until we return to the sun, we are one in the one. Sing all that with me. We are one in the one. The dawn of a new day. The dawn of a new day has begun. Until we return to the sun. Until we return to the sun. We are one in the one. Third part goes like this. One in the one. In the one. One in the one. In the one. We are one in the one. We are one in the one. The dawn of a new day has begun. Until we return to the sun, we are one in the one. Sing that all again with me. We are one in the one. The dawn of a new day. The dawn of a new day has begun. Until we return to the sun, we are one in the one. One in the one in the one. Sing it out. One in the one. One in the one. In the one. We are one. We are one in the one. The dawn of a new day. The dawn of a new day has begun. Until we return to the sun, we are one in the one. Yeah, we are one in the one. We are one in the one. The dawn of a new day. The dawn of a new day has begun. Until we return. Until we return to the sun, we are one in the one. All right, now we just chant it back out. Here we go. One in the one, one in the one. One in the one. One in the one, one in the one. One in the one again. One in the one, one in the one. One in the one. One in the one, one in the one. One in the one.
thank you, Gary, wherever you are. All right, now it's time for me to pray this time in. Set the tone. Get us settled in this space. So do that. Get comfortable in that chair, if you can, if you're in a cushy chair. Take a deep breath. And feel it invigorate every fiber of your being, your beingness. That is what we come to discuss today, that beingness of it. For I know that there is only one life, one power, one presence, and it is everywhere present. It created everything. Therefore, I know it created me, and it created each and every one of you. And indeed, it created this beautiful day. So it is from this deep place of knowing that I recognize the blessing of our time together today, our expression of devotion to this idea that we have a choice as to how our life plays out. And it is good and very good. So I recognize the blessing of this space that we've created, the hands that put it together. I recognize the blessing of our ministers today, in particular, our Reverend Debbie, who suited up and showed up to tell the truth that there's only one life, one power, one presence. I absolutely recognize the blessing of our musician joining us via the internet, and the practitioners that show up and hold high watch. This day is already done perfectly in the divine mind. All we need to do is be. So I will let this little prayer be and say, and so it is. Okay. Now it's time for our group reading, where we ourselves anchor into this one idea. Do we have that? All right, say it with me. I am ready to deepen my conviction in the power and the presence for good. I am ready to apply it in my daily life. I am ready to receive God's highest blessings. And I am ready to live from a higher level of beingness. I am ready to be a transformative light in the world. All right. And now, this is one of my favorite parts of the service. We light the flames of faith. And I will invite Brent to come up and give him a moment. I don't know if he did a test run on the lighter. Okay. This center is based on the knowledge that there is one great universal presence, and we acknowledge that there are multiple names and paths to this one which unifies us, not divides us. Please join me as we honor the unifying nature of spiritual thought and experiences as we light the flames of faith, acknowledging all people and all faiths. We light the candle for the Tao, honoring the universal path of harmony, equilibrium, and the natural way. We light the candle for Hinduism, honoring the path of knowledge, action, and devotion. We light the candle for Judaism, honoring the ethical path of living by sacred law. We light the candle for all forms of Buddhism, honoring the Four Noble Truths and the path of compassion. We light the candle for all forms of Christianity, honoring the Christ consciousness as the path of love. We light the candle for all forms of Islam, honoring the path of submission to the will of God as the highest calling. And now I'd like you to take a moment and light that candle within. That candle that is the expression, that brightness, that light, that love, that is that divine idea of that we are already that which is. And now I would like to invite Joan to come up for today's inspirational reading.
Good morning. This is an excerpt from The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. Realize deeply that the present moment is all you ever have. Make the now the primary focus of your life. When you are truly present, there is no struggle, no striving, no resistance. You are in alignment with the flow of life, with the power that is the source of all creation. The mind, in its habitual patterns, tries to control and manipulate what is happening in the present, but this only creates unnecessary tension. True power comes when you surrender to what is, when you let go of your attachment to how things should be. By being fully present, you allow the power within you to work through you. Don't look for the answer in the future, for the future is only a mental projection. The answer, the power, is already within you. It is only waiting for you to recognize it and let go of the mental chatter that blocks your awareness. As you become present, you align with the force of life itself, which is infinitely more powerful than any thought, plan, or strategy you can create.
And now another song from Gary Lynn Floyd.
Beloved community, we gather in unity, all are welcome here, all are blessed and a blessing to be. Beloved community, where we discover divinity, recovering who we are in our beloved community. It doesn't matter where we've come from, it doesn't matter what we've undone, all that matters is we're here now. Keep an open heart, let spirit work it out. Beloved community, we gather in unity, all are welcome here, all are blessed and a blessing to be. Beloved community, where we discover divinity, recovering who we are in our beloved community. It doesn't matter where we've come from, it doesn't matter what we've undone, all that matters is we're here now. Keep an open heart, let spirit work it out. Beloved community, we gather in unity, all are welcome here, all are blessed and a blessing to be. Beloved community, where we discover divinity, recovering who we are in our beloved community, recovering who we are in our beloved community, recovering who we are in our beloved community. I love it.
Now, please welcome Reverend Debbie for today's message.
Thank you. I love that idea of recovering who we are, don't you? Okay, happy May 4th. May the force be with you. I had to do it. Come on. Yes, it's a little mix of Jedi wisdom and spiritual wisdom. So, Star Wars, may the force be with you. The fourth be with you. Sorry. Should have practiced that one. May. And let us use the force, and let us next Sunday remember our May programs. How's that? If you want a May program, you got to come next Sunday. I don't know how to tell you anything else. Okay. Each of us, we walk our unique path. You know that our own individualized expression of whatever crap is happening is ours. but also all of that wonderful is ours. And I believe that although each of our journeys is distinct, there's a couple of things that we all have in common. I believe we all have an inner urge, which is why we show up in this community. We have an inner urge to have a higher level of beingness in this planet, to think from a higher place of awareness and openness, and to experience life not only in our humanness, but in our spiritualness, and to allow the two of them to come together in magnificence. And every Sunday, we affirm that there is a power for good in the universe, and you can consciously use it. An opening phrase that our founder, Ernest Holmes, used in his Sunday talks. But here's the thing. We're always using it, and it is always using us. Whatever it is, it doesn't matter what you call it. That one power, that spirit, that universal knowledge, that heart, God, it doesn't matter what you call it. Call it Harry, I don't care. Just, no, it's there. It's there. And we gather and we go down this spiritual path, not because it's so fun and delightful. I mean, it is most of the time. But we also do it because we want more good in our life, right? Don't we all want more love and more peace and more joy and more fun and more abundance? Don't we all want more connection, both to our higher power and to each other? I mean, you can't get enough of that good stuff. And so this month, we're going to explore some different pathways that will allow us to transcend that power, that oneness, into our everyday life. And look at what it really takes to tap into that power that's already saying, yes, yes, my beloved, what? But to tap into it consciously, productively, abundantly. And so today I'm going to look at that pathway to the power itself, which may seem like an external job, but it's an inward job. It is always an inside job. It doesn't feel that way, right? Because when we step out of here, there's all of that humanness, all that materialness, all that marketing, all of that world crazy. And sometimes it looks like a mountain that we're just struggling to just to survive, that there's really no even reason to think about thriving. But thriving is what we are here to do. And we can't play it safe if that's the case. We can choose to say, be safe, but when we do that, there's less life, and there's less love, and there's less joy. Yes, there's less mountains and less valleys, but it's kind of boring, right? It's kind of boring just to be safe and sound. I have a couple of boring relatives in Iowa, and I have to tell you, it's not that exciting to hang with them. It just isn't. Because life calls us out, not to be safe, but to be in full expression, to be awake and alive and aware, to be curious, to be willing for that more goodness. Not only does life call us out for more goodness, but life, spirit, is always there to help us and to support us. You remember the story of the book of Matthew, right? In the book of Matthew, first off, in the book of Matthew, there's a lot of boats and a lot of storms. But this story I'm talking about, the disciples are at sea, and it's early morning, and there's this wonderful mist, and there's this figure that's coming towards them, and they start to be frightful. They think it's a ghost. So what happens? But Peter calls out. Peter calls out, and Jesus says, "Take heart, do not be afraid, it is I." Jesus, the master teacher, says this. And so Peter replies, "Lord, if it's you, command me to walk on the water." Jesus says, "Come on." Peter walks a couple steps, however long he walks, I don't know. And then the wind shows up, and his fear shows back up, and he starts to sink. But the master teacher reaches out and says, "You of little faith, why did you doubt?" It's kind of a big question coming from the master teacher. And it's a question he also asks often. Why do you doubt? You know, like, you're doing it. You're doing it. Just keep doing it. But that's not easy for any of us to do, right? It's hard. It's hard to keep going. But imagine the courage it took for Peter to step out of that boat. I mean, I'm sure he had to have taken a couple of deep breaths before he did it, but when he was walking on water, imagine the joy. Like, imagine what that would be like for him. The power. Peter tapped into that one power. The one power. And as long as he was tapped in, there wasn't any room for fear to show up. But it's those little things. It's that occasional air, that wind, that little bit of thing that maybe could be a storm that I think sets all of us off a little bit. A gentleman by the name of John Ortberg wrote a book. If you want to walk on water, you've got to get out of the boat. I love it. And in this, he suggests that Peter's walk was not a failure. His sinking was not a failure at all. But the whole parable, that story, is actually an invitation from the master teacher to us to step out in faith. An invitation to be willing to get our feet wet, knowing we're not alone. Peter was invited, just like all of us get invited, right? We get invited to move beyond our doubts, move beyond our fears, to align with the truth of who we really are, and then step out, remembering that we're powerful. We are creative geniuses. We really are. And when we trust the infinite, knowing it is just saying, "Yes, my beloved," then how could we just stay in the same boat? So my question this morning to all of you is, where in your life are you willing to get your feet just a little bit wet? Not asking you to sink, but just a little bit wet. Because in order for there to be more goodness and more expression and more of all of that wonder, there needs to be a little bit of a risk. There needs to be a willingness to step out in faith. Because if we consider this life a boat, there's always some pushing and some pulling to get out of that boat we've created for ourselves, to step out beyond it into something bigger, like a luxury liner. Let's do that, right? It can either be a push, like a shove, like that 2x4 that we talk about, or it can be a pull. It could be that desire that just won't go away. It just keeps knocking at our door. I know I stepped out of my comfortable boat a few times. I stepped out of my comfortable boat when I moved here from San Diego. I mean, it was comfortable there, you guys. It was known. It was lovely weather. I had a fabulous spiritual community, great friends, less than 2 miles from the beach, right? I mean, it was good. But not only was there some desire to be closer to family, but there was also this push, this shove, right? All of a sudden, okay, well, this relationship is getting more and more difficult to be part of. And there were just all of these reasons not to stay. And then this big reason to go Actually, Jeff coming into my life was not a big reason to go because he was willing to move to paradise, right? But I still wanted to be close to family. The answer, with all the pushing and all the pulling, I didn't have all of the dots, but I knew the dots needed me to come here. And here, I have an incredible spiritual community. I've got some great friends. I don't know how to substitute the beach, but I'm working on it, okay? Steve Jobs once said, you could connect the dots. You can't connect the dots looking forward. You can only connect them looking backwards. Isn't that brilliant? So when we are being called to get out of the boat, whether it's pushing, pulling, or a combination of both, sometimes we just have to accept the invitation and do it and not wait for all of the dots to show up. Oprah Winfrey says, your life is calling you, not a voice that you hear. It's a tug you feel. You know, here was her tug. She was a news anchor. She was successful, but not very fulfilled. And then she was asked if she wanted to host a morning show. And everyone around her was like, that is a step down. You are like leading the evening news. You're a news anchor. And now you want to like just take over a talk show. But there was something that said yes. There was that pull that said yes. And now, we all know it was a global platform, right? It was exactly what her heart wanted. Oprah said, I had no idea that stepping out in faith would lead to such influence, but I listened to the voice within. I let it guide me. That is walking on water. But I also will tell you, walking on water, right? It's that great idea. Let's do it. Let's get out of the boat. And then like that wind, fear shows up for all of us. Fear of failure, fear of rejection, fear of just plain old not being enough, right? That fear shows up. And sometimes it makes us return to the boat, which is fine. Maybe the next time getting out of the boat will be a little easier. But at some point, we got to get back out of the boat. We have to face our own storms. And we have to be willing to ask for help. Here's the good news. That when we get out of the boat, there is always a hand reaching out for us. Always. We're never, ever alone. We are always in communion, in communication with the one. And there's always some reassurance around us. That's why we show up in this community, right? I mean, we gather to reassure each other, to reach out a hand, to provide a hug, to listen without judgment. There's always that reassurance. And then there's grace that we talked about last month. There's always that grace that, just make sure it's never as bad as it could be, and it's always a little better than it should be, right? That's grace. God power, spirit power, that one power, it is always within us, and it is always, always, always strengthening us, and it never abandons us. That is what we know for sure. We also know that we can be willing to ask. We can ask in prayer. We can ask to have guidance. We can ask to have support. Asking doesn't have to be an admission of weakness. It's really an admission of strength, I believe. It's like, I'm here to do this, and I'm going to do this, and oh, by the way, I need you to help me do it, right? Ernest Holmes said, the answer to every problem exists at the level of spirit. The answer to every problem. If we're willing to be quiet and listen, if we're willing to seek within, to do that inner work, to have those committed inner conversations with ourselves, if we're willing just to be quiet, whether that's sitting in a room, whether that's out in nature, no matter where it is. I had a conversation this week with someone about meditation, and she was beating herself up to a certain extent because her meditation is running. And isn't that great? Running. But do you look at meditation as running? No, most people think meditation is sitting in a room and being like quiet. Meditation can be anything. And I don't know if she was beating herself up as much as just questioning, do I need to do more? Meditation, not running, because she's doing a lot of running. But the idea is that there comes a moment, no matter what's going on around us, no matter what the fear is, there comes a moment when we have to make a choice. Do we get out of the boat? Do we go back to, what do we do? And I believe if we just become willing to get our feet wet and to be quiet, Spirit will tell us what to do. A couple of other times I've stepped out of the boat. My first tithe of 10% was 10% of my unemployment check. That was a hard check to write. And that was back when we were writing checks. It was hard. But I have to tell you, what came back was abundance. I never lacked money. There was never a time when I didn't have what I needed to pay a bill or to buy groceries. There was always peace, and there were always opportunities that like showed up from the blue. I mean, the government of Belize called me to do a survey. I'm like, where is Belize? I mean, things happen that you don't even know about. Truly, they do. When I stepped into forgiveness, especially my own self-forgiveness, I discovered I was more loving and more lovable. I was more willing to love. You know, for years, I kept thinking, and I'm sure I'm not the only one that thought this, if I was only thinner, smarter, younger, and blonde, life would be incredible. But when I stepped out of that whole boat of self-judgment, life was pretty good, and it just kept getting better, and this whole spiritual community opened itself up to me. It's where I met Science of Mind, was by willing to get out of the boat and out of self-judgment and just suit up at a spiritual center and sit in the back row and cry for the whole service and then leave before it ended so nobody would know I cried. But when I got out of the self-judgment boat and I was willing to let people see that I was crying, that's where it all came together for me. That's when I realized I wasn't the only one crying. And today, well, I'm still a redhead, and I'm paying really good money to be a redhead. And I'm still invested in this spiritual community. I'm still invested in a spiritual community. A spiritual community is still invested in me. And I have to tell you this right here, when we gather, this is where the magic happens. This is where our hearts open. This is where we get to be authentically ourselves and know that we are lovingly accepted, just as we are, just for who we are. So I ask, where is your life too comfortable? Oh no, I can't ask that yet. Go back. I thought I had a slide for this one. All right, so I'm going to ask you, where is your life too comfortable? Like, where are you just like cruising? And is it okay to be cruising because it's just so good? What boat are you being asked to step out of? Right? What boat? Is it what part of your life are you ready to accept more goodness? A bigger boat. And what goodness is waiting for you on that other side when you start to get your feet wet, when you take that invitation to move on up to the east side, as they used to say, right? Okay, New Thought teachers. Neville, you rise as high as your dominant feeling. You are what you believe yourself to be. My favorite, Florence. I love Florence. If you've not read Florence, you gotta read Florence. Florence was a really crazy woman in New York City who sort of self-isolated and didn't really like people. But man, she had some wisdom and she really changed lives on those people that she welcomed in. Florence, fear is only inverted faith. It is faith in evil instead of good. And Emma, there is a good for me and I ought to have it. Ought is such a powerful word. Ought. It's like, I ought to have it. It should be right here. Like right, Emma believed it's right here. And it's already mine. Not only is it already mine, but what I envision it to be, she knew it was going to show up even more. A powerful, powerful teacher. Ernest Holmes, faith is the inner knowing, it cannot die. We can lose sight of it, but it waits to be discovered. To be discovered. Just like we come here to recover. It's the same idea, right? It's like, it's just here. Waiting for us to say, to accept the invitation, to accept our genius, to accept our love. Because we have so much more to appreciate and to give than we'll ever know. Friends, greater faith, greater connections, greater time, courting that one power, it all comes together. So here's your assignment for this week. Identify one area, just one, where there's a nudge. Just one. We all have one area where there's this little nudge to just step out, to get our feet wet. And then name that first fear that shows up, because if there wasn't a fear associated with it, we'd already be doing it. So name it. Don't claim it, though. Be assured that there is everything you need to move beyond that fear. You may have to ask. We have incredible practitioners. You can fill out a prayer request. You can fill one out online. There's always help. There's always guidance. There's always someone who knows our genius for us. And then just take one step this week. Just one little bitty step. Just enough to get your feet wet. You can go up to your knees if you want, but you don't have to. But get out of the boat in that one little area. You already have everything you need. You have all the support you could possibly need. And you've got that one within you and around you, working through you, as you, for you, delighted in you, and experiencing its creation. And I can tell you, it is always ready to support wet feet. It's the truth. So it is.
And now our brilliant technician will bring us to
Do you remember you are love at the heart of your being? Do you remember there is more to this life than what you're seeing? Let me remind you, you are beautiful by far. You've nothing left to prove when you remember who you are. If you ever forget I will help you remember who you are and who you're here to be. Sometimes it's hard to make a way through the dark, but I will see for you and help you remember who you are. Do you remember there is peace in the middle of this storm? Do you remember you have all you need inside to keep you warm? Let me remind you, you're the dust from a star. Your essence is revealed when you remember who you are. If you ever forget, I will help you remember who you are and who you're here to be. Sometimes it's hard to make a way through the dark, but I will see for you and help you remember. You are stronger than you think you are, braver than you seem. The life that lies ahead of you is like nothing you have ever seen. If you ever forget, I will help you remember who you are and who you're here to be. Sometimes it's hard to make a way through the dark, but I will see for you and help you remember who you are. Remember who you are. Remember who you are.
All right, how about another round of applause for our speaker today, Reverend Debbie. All right, let's see where we're at. Thank you again for joining us this morning. And if you feel spiritually fed, now's the time to show it. It's time for our conscious giving. Each one of us gives from a place of fullness and a place of there is enough. And when you give where you're spiritually fed, it just adds to the blessings of it all. So, I'd like you to take that gift, whatever it is that you have, hold it close to you. And let me tell you that this is one of my favorite little prayers. This gift I give is God in action. I send it forth with joy, confidence, and ease. I am blessed by the law of giving and receiving, as I now share my good with life, pressed down, shaken together, and running over.
I am so glad, I am so glad, I am so glad, I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so glad, I am so blessed, I am so grateful, I am so blessed.
All right, thank you for those gifts. Please know that you can also go online to cslminneapolis.org. There's a donation button there too. There's another button on our website, and that's for prayer. That's one of the gifts we have for you. as Reverend Debbie talked about today, you have support. Practitioners here hold high watch at all times for each of us, and we're available at all times. So you can fill out a prayer request here, and we'll take it and get it out to the team. You can actually sit with one of us after service if there's something particularly troubling going on in life, or if there's something particularly good. You want to see that good coming. Practitioners today, Reverend Joanne, Dee, Jeff, Reverend W. Leif is here too. I'm here. Take advantage of this opportunity. It's our job to help you remember who you really are. So as I said, take advantage of it here, take advantage of it online, and that's how you build that connection. That's how you reinforce this idea that you're not alone. We're in it together. Okay. Are we ready for some announcements? Sure. Cool. I'll let you do that.
Okay. All right, we've got a few announcements. Okay, and the most exciting announcement we have is that on May 16th, which is a Friday night, we are going to gather here. Our Unity communities are going to join us, and we're calling it a celebration of consciousness, but it's about gathering in joy and talking about our spiritual path and how we are where we are and how what we are is being a benefit to the world. We're going to look at our consciousness, that gift that we give to each other. And we're going to talk about spirit in a very personal way. Different ministers and spiritual leaders will have a couple words to say on their own path and some questions, and then there'll be an open forum to answer those questions. We're going to have some cookies and some soda water, and it's going to be grand. And also, Selena Maitreya, who is an author of the book Raise Your Vibration, Transform Your Life, will be here. And she, at the end of the evening, will share her story, her journey. So that's Friday night. And then on Saturday, the 17th, at French Park, she is going to lead an all-day workshop. And it is truly a get-down-to-business workshop on spiritual tools that will allow us to raise our vibration, to come from that place of centered love more often than not. And she's limiting it to 20 people because it's truly a hands-on, let's get into it. We're going to have a light lunch served, and you can learn more about both of those events on our website. And I hope you at least check out the website. You can register. Friday night's a free event. Saturday is $150. And yeah, it's going to be kind of cool in the middle of French Park with trees all around us, just talking about it and working at it. Also, on Tuesday nights at 7 o'clock, Reverend Jeff and I are leading a book discussion. This time we're looking at the Sacred Continuum, which is how we live our life between prayer. And we're going to be looking at peace and the second step of treatment, which is that unification with the One. And just sort of talking about, we're going to check in with each other and support each other, and then talk about how we unify with that one power. In June, Practitioner Celeste, is going to lead the next book study. That time, book discussion will be on, more information will be next week with time and day. And then I think for the summer, I'm going to lead a book club. I'm going to pick a book, and we'll meet on a Sunday after service at my place, and we'll talk about the book, like a book club. And the first one is going to be The Alchemist, which is a lovely, lovely little novel, I'm going to say. It's too small to be a novel. But anyway, so I think that's the first one we're going to talk about, because it's a story, but it's deep. So that's what we've got coming in June. All of that information, along with May programs, will be here next week, including we have a gentleman who's singing here for the first time, David Singley. And we're really looking forward to having David in the house. Celeste?
Alicia, do you want to talk about your exhibit really quick? I know. Hey, Anthony's not here to be your spokesperson.
Yes, for those of you who have not seen it yet, I have an exhibit going on, curated by Anthony in downtown St. Paul in the Skyway. So I forget the actual address, which is where he usually comes in, but it's the Wells Fargo place in the Wells Fargo building. It's on the Skyway level. It's right near the Rotunda. So that goes until June 30th. And I'm waiting on some prints to be swapped out right now. So if you've already seen it, they will be swapped out in the coming weeks. But yeah, I think that's it. Yeah, thanks.
I have seen it. It's worth the trip. Just saying. All right. What's next? I think we're almost done. Hey, I'm getting there. I'm getting there. Okay. Yeah, I think the only thing left to do, we've done the announcements. I am going to pray us out. Reverend Joanna's going to bless us out. We have one more song from Gary. But before we do all of that, we're going to sing Happy Birthday. We missed April. I don't know where it went, but we're doing April and May. So for those, I am not going to stay at the microphone while singing this. But if we want to do a round of Happy Birthday for everyone.
Does anybody have a birthday in May or April?
Woohoo! Okay, we're singing to you. Okay. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to everybody. Happy birthday to you. Yay! Okay. There's cake and muffins and coffee. I hope you'll join us after service for some fellowship. All right. With that, let me pray us out. Set the tone for the week. So once again, settle into that space. Take a deep breath. And drop down inside deep where we already know the truth. That God is all there is. That God is in the midst of me, nearer than hands and feet, closer than breath. It is us, as us, through us, always. And today in particular, we were reminded to walk our path. Be willing to say yes to the urge to live from a higher place of beingness. Life is calling us out to be willing to get our feet wet, to express our fullness. Let go of fear and doubt and embrace the truth that we are divinely guided and divinely inspired at all times. So I say again, let us walk our path and be willing to step out of the boat, walk on water, knowing everything really does unfold perfectly for our highest good. That all we need to do is be. And be willing to be willing. To be great. To say yes to life. To say yes to our good and know we deserve it. God is saying yes to us. So, let us remember who we really are and that we are deserving of our good. And it is before us abundantly and lovingly and graciously. Let's step into that power. I am so thankful to know the truth. So thankful to know that our word is powerful. And we have just spoken into a law. And that law works. And must bring us that good of what we speak. So I let it go. I let it be. It is done, it is done, it is done, and done well. And all I need do is say, and so it is. Let me take a stop.
And I'll leave you with this blessing. May you be at peace. May you know the beauty of your own true nature. May your heart be open. May you be healed. May you be blessed. Namaste.
It's been so nice being with you again, remembering all the times we've had together. And until next time, until I can see you in person, hopefully one of these days, here's my blessing to you as you go about your week. Love be with you, peace enfold you, Spirit lift you, breathe it in. Truth come through you, may good flow to you, and let joy renew you till we meet again. Love be with you. Ooh, love be with you. Yeah, yeah. All together, hand in hand, see the light and take a stand. And we are changing. A whole new life for you and me. Take your past and set it free. Share this blessing. Love be with you, peace enfold you, Spirit lift you, breathe it in. Truth come through you, may good flow to you, and let joy renew you till we meet again. Love be with you. Ooh, 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 love be with you. See you next time. Thank you.